So this is what it looks like, and you will pretty much know that it's finished cooking once you taste it. And the beans and the lentils should not taste gritty really any longer. They should now taste, more creamy. Today I have a few errands to run, and I thought I'd bring you guys all along with me for a few things. One thing I'm going to do is go do some grocery shopping at the Chinese grocery store. So I know it's kind of uncharted territory for some people, so I thought, why not make it, more accessible for everyone, and, show you guys a few things that I buy. And when I head home today, I will cook up a spring meal, so we will go ahead and get everything started. Let's go. All right, roll out. All right, so for real though, I am going to head to my local coffee shop, and I am going to get a tea because I like to do errands with a tea. Makes it a little more enjoyable doing the running around. It's just a nice little luxury, that I like to do when I am getting some things done. So I will stop there first. Just as I'm driving here and whatnot, one of the questions that I get all the time is, if I want to follow a Chinese medicine lifestyle or diet, I have to eat Chinese food all the time. And no, first of all, 90%, if not more, of the Chinese restaurants, right, in America is not really what Chinese food is in China. But no, you do not have to, have Chinese ingredients, or, anything special to do a Chinese medicine lifestyle. But, for me, I'm kind of like a foodie. I like trying new foods. I think, having different ingredients and things, I don't know, just gives you something different to try. Strange, different ingredients for most people are not necessary to do this. But I'd like to just show you guys a couple things that you can add. And then later on when we're cooking, I'll also show you guys a few ingredients that are, more mainstream here in the United States for cooking a spring meal. So really every ingredient has certain properties, right? So if it's warming or cooling or dampening or moistening or drying. So once you know that ingredient's property, right, you have an idea of what kind of meals that you should be, or what types of ingredients you should be incorporating into your meals, if you're having certain ailments or whatever. So yeah, so don't feel like, oh, I can't do this because I don't have a Chinese grocery store near me, or I don't have anything, that I can't find this specific ingredient. Really everything these days you can get online, but it's not necessary. You can use exactly what you have where you live, in whatever country. It's just a matter of identifying and knowing the properties of, that ingredient. So do not let it be a roadblock to, incorporating these principles into your life. I think sometimes we can put up a lot of roadblocks, into trying sometimes different things or new things as a way to just not get started, right? But yeah, you absolutely don't need anything special. You can use exactly what you have locally in your own grocery stores. So this was just a fun treat to bring around those who, like I said, are a little intimidated to going into a Chinese grocery store. Those who want to take a look at, what they offer and what kind of things I'm looking out for. So, hope you guys enjoy this. Gotta find a spot to park. Let's see. Where is it? There's nowhere. All right, let's go in. Alright guys, sorry, it was pretty busy in there. So I got my matcha latte. Now we will continue on to the Chinese grocery store. Alright, so we are here. I'm just gonna take another sip of this before we head in. It is the weekend, so it's gonna be pretty busy, but that's okay. I might do a voiceover yet, I'm not sure. Probably just because of how busy it is. some mung bean and lentils over rice and barley. So it's super simple. It's a great spring meal. And right now I'm going to start with I have a pot of boiling water right now. And then I have just rinsed some jasmine rice, 1 cup of jasmine rice and 1 cup of barley. Once the water runs clear, that is able to get rid of about at least 50% of the arsenic. So that's why I like to rinse it till the water runs clear, and then I'll go ahead, add this to the pot of boiling water, and once it returns to a boil, I'll lid it and put it on all the way to low. All right, now this isn't a necessary step, but this is something I like to do. So I have the mung beans and lentils soaking for a few hours. So those of you who are not familiar with mung beans, these are kind of like my secret spring and summer weapon. They are cooling and detoxifying, so these are a really great thing to have right now. You can get them pretty much at any Asian grocery store or even Indian grocery stores, or if you can't have either of those nearby, then go ahead and look online. And then of course red lentils. You can really use whatever type of lentil you like, but I prefer red lentils, so that's what I am using today. So now that I've had this soaking for a few hours, I'm going to go ahead and strain it, rinse it. Now, they say that, soaking mung beans isn't really necessary. I do find that when you don't soak them, they retain their shape a little bit more after cooking. I don't really mind them being a little bit mushy, so I just go ahead and soak them for a little bit. Mung beans are something that are really quick to sprout, so if you go ahead and soak these like something overnight, you will already have the beans sprouting, and those are really great to cook up in stir fries as well. So while I am waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and you can use any kind of onions for these. I really love scallions, and so do my kids, so that is what I will use. And you can just give them a quick chop. You're going to blend the mung bean and lentil mixture anyway, so you don't have to worry about them being super small or perfect, because they're going to get blended as well. So there's some things that I do like to just use scissors on. I find that it's a little quicker, easier than getting, all the cutting board out and doing that. So I will use kitchen shears for that. Yeah, even the carrots, not too bad. Like I said, don't worry about it being perfect. It's going to cook in the soup, and we can go ahead and blend that up later. Doesn't need to be beautiful, right? Those of you with kids know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's just about getting a good, healthy, homemade meal on the table, and the less mess and less stress, the better. So in addition to the onions and carrots, I also have some chopped up garlic here ready to go, and we will head over to the stove. All right, so I have my rice and barley almost coming to a boil. It looks like I'm a little short on water, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw another cup in here, just short of a cup, just because it looks like it's gonna need it. Feels like our oil is warm, so I just put in about maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I will go ahead and throw in the carrots and scallions real quick, just to give them a quick sear before I throw the mung bean and lentils in, and garlic and the bone broth. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we have the garlic in there now. And it really smells great. This is about the time my kids are always coming in here to the kitchen saying, "What are you making? It smells so good." Once you see the scallions really get really bright green like this, you are pretty much ready to go ahead and throw in your mung bean and lentil mixture. And then I will throw in, I have about 4 cups of bone broth. So if you don't have any kind of bone broth or stock, water is fine. I just like to use some of my bone broth at home because, I like to try to have everything go to some kind of use and not to waste. So, but like I said, really it adds a little bit of flavor, but if you don't have it, don't worry, just start with water. All right, so we'll give that a little mix, and we will turn that up to medium, and I will lid it, but I won't put the lid on all the way tight. I will let it to the side a little bit so a little bit of steam can come out and we don't have any issues. So I have over here my cast iron skillet. If any of you guys are interested in seeing me cook with cast iron, let me know in the comments below. Cast iron is something that I use all the time. I use it for muffin tins. I also have pots and pans, but my skillet is something that has, you know, a permanent stay on my stove because I use it all the time. All right, so while we're waiting on the things on the stove, I'm also going to show you one of the things we grabbed from the Chinese grocery store, and it's called Tong Ho. So what Tong Ho is it is the leaves of the chrysanthemum flower. So you can see here we have some dried chrysanthemum flowers that I use for tea. They really have similar properties since they are from the same plant. So it helps the liver, clears heat, and is basically, you know, more of a detoxifying and cooling ingredient. What I will do is and look at, I mean, come on, look how cheap it is. $1, under $2, and this is a pretty hefty amount. It's over a pound. If you can't get this, don't worry. Using something similar like spinach or jute leaves, Swiss chard, you can really use anything, any other type of, you know, greens. But these are really great if you can get your hands on them, especially if you have any types of problems with liver or heat. So I'm gonna go ahead, give these a good rinse, and then I will chop them up a little bit. And once we have the stove cleared off, I will go ahead and saute these up just before everything else is ready with a little bit of garlic. I will probably have some lemon to squeeze on top. All right, so we're back to the stove. I've had this on for about 10 minutes now. It's starting to boil a little bit, which is nice, but I'm gonna go ahead and add in some herbs and spices. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some cumin, ground cumin. I'm one of those people who I don't have a recipe written down for anything. Everything is just by eye and by taste. I think when you're just starting, just start off with a little bit and then add to taste. You know, add a teaspoon in, mix it in, taste it. Add another one in, taste it, you know, and do it how much your family likes. I'm also going to add in a little bit of white pepper. Not too much because it's pretty strong, and I have kids, and one of them is especially sensitive to spice. So it smells so good. Give that a nice stir. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on for maybe another 10 minutes, and we will check on it then. The lid on, and we'll save the salt for later. I usually like to add the salt at the very, very end. So don't forget about your rice and barley or whatever you have. I just took that off the stove, and that's very nice and fluffy. So I'll probably go ahead and leave the lid off and go ahead and put it back onto the stove, just under no heat or anything, just to keep it. But I just wanted you guys to see. Okay, so like I said, I have some of the garlic here to saute the greens with. I'm just gonna give these a little bit of a chop, not too much. Probably take off the end here and feed it to the chickens. But everything here will be good to just throw in with a little bit of olive oil, and you guys will see that in just a minute. So while I have a minute, I'm just gonna push this off to the side a little bit, and I will chop up the lemons that we will use for on top of the Tong Ho. Oh my goodness, so my kids love lemon, and these lemons are very juicy. Oh my goodness. All right, so it's looking like it's almost time for us to blend up the mung bean and lentils. So I just have a immersion blender here. It makes it just a little bit quicker and easier to clean up because it just pops off. But if you don't have one of these, do not worry. You can use, you know, a blender, or just even a potato masher would help, or you could just leave it how it is, to be honest. So it's really up to you what your preference is. I just prefer to blend. So let's go ahead and take the mung beans off the stove. So now that we have the mung bean lentils off the stove, you can see that the lentils have lost a lot of their red color and looks more similar actually to the mung beans. We've really lost almost all of the water, at least visibly, from the top. So that's usually a good time. We can go ahead and start trying to blend. Alright, so now that I have that blended to where I like it, I'll see if I can get a little closer so you guys can see. Really feel for, you know, I like my consistency still like a little chunky, not super blended. Technically, you could leave this as a soup and just eat it as is with bread or, you know, whatever you'd like. Right now, mine needs about maybe 10 more minutes on the stove. So I'm going to put this on the stove, put a lid on it, and turn it on like medium-low for 10 minutes. And then it will be ready to serve over rice. All right, so I just pulled this off the stove. I did end up adding about 1 or 2 more cups of the bone broth. Like I said, you could also use water. So this is what it looks like, and you will pretty much know that it's finished cooking once you taste it. And the beans and the lentils should not taste gritty really any longer. They should now taste, you know, more creamy. So we will mix this up a little bit and pour a little bit over rice. And while that's cooling just a little bit before the table, I'm gonna go ahead and take you over the stove and we will saute our chrysanthemum green. I'll go ahead and throw in my garlic. And I will start by throwing some of the stemmier pieces in, just because those will take a little bit longer to cook than just the tops alone. So I like to use a pair of tongs whenever I am sauteing greens. So I just like to make sure everything's coated up with the oil and garlic. And once these start turning green, after about a minute, I will go ahead and throw the tops on. All right, let's check on this. It smells so good. Go ahead and mix that up a little bit more, and I will go ahead and throw the tops on now. So I'm just trying to, again, coat everything with the olive oil and garlic, and I will go ahead and throw the lid on just for 1 minute to steam it a little bit. All right, so we'll go ahead and open that up, and you can just see how awesome these brightened up. You really start to smell their flavor. Turn off the heat on those. And we will go ahead and transfer this to our plates. So here we have our rice, barley, and mung bean lentils. And we'll just pick up a nice side of the chrysanthemum greens, set it on the side here. I will go ahead and squeeze a little bit of lemon on top and sprinkle a little bit of salt. Little sea salt, just for tasting. Now you guys can just see how beautiful these colors turned out with the greens and everything. And there you have it. So I hope you guys got a lot from this vlog today. I know it was a little different than, you know, some of the more sit-down teaching style that I've been doing, but sometimes it's good to have a change of pace and, you know, really see Chinese medicine meals in real life. You know, how can we apply this to ourselves? And trying something new is also a great thing to do. So let me know in the comments below how you guys will be incorporating these new ideas into your life. Thanks, guys. See you next time.